It's a very good question. First of all, from a bloodline, if a person, for argument's sake, has many thousands of years of a bloodline, then you are associated with a group or with a family and a set way of doing things.
Right.
Again, we'll talk about Mary's talk. She mentioned an ascension. She used the term ascension, where certain beings want to ascend and can get on the back of a human ascension. And the situation at the moment is very much like a big capital ship that's sinking. And the captain of the ship has got 1 foot in the big ship that's sinking and 1 foot in the lifeboat. And he's wondering, should he go down with the ship or should he go onto the lifeboat?
Right.
So things are changing. The groups that I are interacting with are taking part in a number of experiments that are taking place on the Earth at the moment. And I don't mean physical experiments, to see if the human race can actually live with some of these groups that have oppressed them for thousands of years. And if these groups are capable of saying we no longer see ourselves as the gods of these people, if they can survive and be together, they have a future together, and when the human race actually advances itself, there's a good chance it will take some of these other groups with them.
Right.
That is the experiment that's being played out at the moment at that level. You have to understand that President Putin is now interacting with a different form of aliens than Obama is interacting with. The Chinese are also split.
Yes.
And Iran is now becoming split as well.
Right.
So it's not clear-cut as it was 10 years ago. So I'm quite supportive of Putin at the moment.
Okay. Now, I've been told that the Russians are though mainly working with a group of reptilians. This is what I've been told.
They were.
They
were.
But do you think there's another group they've got?
They're now working with a much more humanoid group at the moment. And that's why Russia doesn't buy oil in dollars anymore.
I've heard that, for example, the Chinese are very closely aligned with the Zetas and have been for many, many years. And then I have a whistleblower who told me that they have gotten in contact with a completely different race that's like a new race.
Yes.
And is not liked by most of the other races because of their...
Not part of the club.
Yeah.
That's correct. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Use the word experiment. You're correct in the word experiment, but you were incorrect in your terminology because you looked at it as a 3D experiment.
Not necessarily, but okay.
Okay, all right. There are a number of experiments taking place around the Earth at the moment, in a non-physical sense, to see if reptilian culture can live side by side with human culture. Can the reptilians give up their idea that they're the gods? Can they give up the idea that they have the right to eat whoever they want? Can they come to a point where they could work with humanity? And can the human race, I don't mean earthbound humans, I mean all of the human races, the more pure humans, can they actually accept a living situation with these creatures?
Right.
Because if they can, then when humanity evolves, it will take other races with it to the next level. And,
sure.
And if that can occur, then the effect, and you used the word earlier today about ripple effect, ripple effect throughout the multiverses would be so beneficial that it would actually be a healing source for just about everything. So we have a number of experiments taking place in different places on the planet. I've always said this, Kerry, I'm not important at all. I'm really not important. There's nothing important about me at all. Okay? If anybody wanted to take over the Earth, they'd have done it. However, there is some magic which says that you have to let the indigenous population give you the Earth. You can't just go and take it. You have to be given it. So the Raptors are working to ensure that humanity gives it to them as a present. Therefore it's theirs to keep. The Air Force like the Raptors because they have a personal relationship with them. Let's go back a little bit more. The Earth is a prison planet, for want of a better word. It is a prison planet. The vast majority of the reptilian groups here want to keep the status quo, and they've worked tirelessly to maintain the status quo. That's what it's about. You have a group of reptilians who are very well known to many people in America who wish to keep the status quo. You have groups like Raptors. There are many other groups who are advising small elements of individual influential people, and their goal is to get them to somehow give them the earth on a plate because they're not strong enough to take it themselves. And then you have other groups who want to see humanity free, but the whole rider here is that the DNA in humans is changing on an energetic level. It cannot be stopped. This process cannot be stopped. So it's about damage limitation from these people's point of view. How can humans evolve yet they still be prisoners? How can that occur? And that is what the game is about now. And if it can't, well then there are some mad people out there who will say, well, if we can't have the planet, we'll destroy it.
Right. Yes.
So that is the ball game that's being played. And when people talk about a war, they don't understand it's not just a physical war. There's an energetic war.
But there was something you said last night on the panel,
okay.
And you referenced that an event that was coming or something that was coming, and you said that the Illuminati were right now sending, I think the way you termed it was, vitamins and such things to bloodlines that are, and I got kind of like that, maybe in the Eastern Bloc, that poor or more poverty-stricken areas, to sort of prepare these people and to get them prepared for a coming event or a coming downturn or whatever. I'm not sure. You sort of referenced something. And what I'm asking you basically, what were you referencing and when?
Often I'll drop seeds out into an audience and hope that they'll go and do their own research. Eastern Bloc, because land is cheap, labour is cheap, people can be bribed in the Eastern Bloc, things can be done, questions don't get asked. That's why these are being built in the Eastern Bloc. It's a very, very useful place for a multi-millionaire or a billionaire to operate.
Right.
And if you're part of the European Union, it gives you access without question to no borders.
Yes.
So there are a number of old Eastern Bloc countries which are now part of the European Union, where factories are being set up to just literally supply vitamin-enriched fluids, which will be sold, they won't be given away free, but to bloodline families, and there's a lot of them, or supporters or employees of the Illuminati.
Okay, but the event that you're referencing, or whatever it is, do you want to go down that road?
To an extent, because we talked about CERN, and we talked about other things.
Yes.
The year 2016 is an important point because it marks the cut-off point at which certain groups on Earth can receive through portals. It's the last chance to renegotiate or re-establish a link. After that point, it will be very difficult for them to do so. And so any event that has to occur, from their perspective, will have to occur before that.